Hey everyone, this is Rachel from Real Sky Revelations, and I wanted to talk to you all about this upcoming full supermoon happening in Pisces on Monday, October the 6th. And all that a supermoon really means is that it is going to appear brighter and larger in the sky as comparatively to majority of the full moons that we see. Symbolically, this means that since full moons really illuminate a culmination of a cycle, both collectively and individually, this supermoon is really strongly illuminating it. And the fact that it's sitting in the constellation of Pisces, this is likely to be an emotionally charged full moon. Now, I want to talk about the aspects that the moon is making to other planets. At the height of her fullness on the 6th, Monday the 6th, at 11:48 Eastern Time, and of course near into the 7th, Tuesday the 7th, in the wee hours of the morning, she will be conjunct the asteroid Charis. And Charis in astrology represents how we nurture ourselves and others. She is the epitome of motherhood. And so what that means for us is any wounds around how you were nurtured as a child may come up. And if you have children, it's a illumination of how we are nurturing our children. And this brings me to generational trauma and wounding. So we carry 20 generations of wounds and traumas and hurts within our bloodstream that brought down from our ancestors. And so if we think about that, that's approximately 500 years, and that takes us back to the 1600s, into the 1700s and beyond. And when we look at the events that were happening back then, they're very relevant to what is happening now. So we had colonization, issues of trying to push people out of their home, and that's happening now. And so this is really a push and especially in my last video, I talked about the energy that the planets are making, that the story is really getting us to get out of our karmic past cycles, ancestral cycles that played out in the past. We're not supposed to be replaying them. We're supposed to be working and putting in that work, Saturn conjunct the North Node, to our path, our collective destiny path at the moment. And so that requires us putting in work. The North Node requires us to put in that work. And so let's look at what was happening all those years ago. So what was happening is we had the witch trials. Thousands and thousands died. Now what the word witch means, it comes from the Old English word wicked, W-I-C-C-E, meaning wisdom or wise one. And that's because all of our ancestors followed the stars and planetary cycles, and they understood the influence that they had on the planet now. And we can look at what Tesla said, and Tesla said this entire universe is made up of energy and vibration. Energy and vibration can be broken down into numbers, patterns, and shapes. And that's what the planets are doing. They're telling us a story through their patterns and their shapes that our ancestors recorded, some of them recorded in petroglyphs. We have monuments like Stonehenge, Easter Island. All over the planet, we can see that the one commonality that we have all those years ago is we understood that following the cycles of the stars, planets, and the earth were really what we were supposed to be doing, and it helped us keep ourselves in sync. Well, during this 500 years ago, we really start seeing, colonization of the Americas. And with Pluto, the Americas having our Pluto return, all of these issues of power, control, fears, and shadows of our karmic and ancestral past are coming up. They're very relevant. And it's because we're supposed to put in that effort and work to not repeat the past. So we can see not only did the witch trials happen, and they were trying to rid us of our natural cycles and developing into organized religion, which took us away from those cycles. And we can see where that has led us right now. No, nothing more needs to be said. We can all see where we are at now, where we are not following the paths and cycles that we used to. So a lot of us are here now to bring back those ways from our ancestors that all those years ago were persecuted, and they could not voice themselves or practice how they wanted to and live life how they wanted to, because organized religion came in and took that away from us. Not only that, they persecuted. Then colonizers went and took over the Americas and nearly wiped out entire population. Then we have the slavery of the African Americans here, which is very, very much still relevant in the bloodstream for that generational trauma. For anyone that their families and ancestors were involved in this, very relevant. So this is the time to really step forward and put that work towards changing that karmic past, acting differently. Of course, we can see that in the collective that a lot of us are maintaining the same patterns of destruction, power, control, fear, shadows, hate, and rage. And that's just not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be working towards taking responsibility for the ways that we acted in the past and making sure that we don't repeat those patterns. And so that's why this full moon is so important. It's going to bring up maternal lineage issues that need to be healed and cleared. Karis also represents secrecy. So any secrets that you may have from your mother or that you are holding, really a good time to come out with that, because otherwise it's held unknowingly down the line, and we don't want to do that. It's all about healing. And the day after, of course, when the moon conjuncts Chiron, it's really an opportunity to take what that moon has illuminated for us and turn it into healing. The other thing that I wanted to talk about that's really relevant is when the colonizers came in and developed Jamestown, Virginia in 1607. Not long after that, we started developing in capitalism, and thus banks. And if we look right now at the shareholders who are the owners or shareholders of the world-renowned banks, they're all the most wealthy people on the planet. And so we can see that these people are really controlling our reality and controlling the divide. And that brings me back to George Washington. When America was being developed, George Washington wanted unity, and he didn't want the parties divided. And I have a quote here. So in his 1796 farewell address, he famously warned against the baneful effects of the spirit of party. And we can see right now that there are baneful effects of the parties happening right now, which is just another way to divide us. And so once we can heal our generational issues and get out of that ancestral karmic zone and into healing, taking responsibility and working towards a better path for us, it's going to be life-changing for all of us. And this is part of it. So let this full moon illuminate those generational issues and then work on healing them. Work through, let them heal you with something creative, painting, writing, singing, anything that calls to you, journaling, and let that heal you. All right. And if you want to sign up for my free newsletter, just jump on to realskyrevelations.com, scroll all the way to the bottom. I do a free weekly newsletter and get into astrology and pull some cards. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.